So today we are going to discuss about the binary phase shift key, that is also a digital modulation scheme which is similar to amplitude shift key, and it is a follow-up of the various modulation technique. Now in previous class we have discussed there are basically different type of modulation scheme such as ASK, then we have BPSK, then we have BFSK, and the derived form of VPSK we can discuss about the QPSK, MLA, PSK. So what are the basic components and what are the basic requirements for the binary phase shift key modulated signal that we are going to discuss. In every modulation scheme of a digital system we will come across certain relations. So these relations are, first of all we need to represent that in which particular phase or which particular amplitude the signals are going to be transmitted. Now whatever we are discussing in BPSK, we will discuss with respect to the phase. The phase will be modulated with respect to the carrier. Now modulation happens basically due to the change of characteristics of carrier with respect to the input binary data. Now in amplitude shift key we have discussed that how the amplitudes are going to be identified, how the binary data is going to be represented with the NRZ form, and what is the benefit of that NRZ form, and how the characteristics of carrier is changed. Now here in BPSK, the characteristics of the carrier means here we are concentrated on focus on a phase of a particular carrier. So if the phase of a carrier is changed in accordance to my binary bit, suppose if I am transmitting binary bit 1, then 0, then 1 and 0. So we have represented this binary data in a different waveform, and this waveform we can say it is called NRZ waveform. Okay, so this NRZ waveform we have represented, and we have took the carrier signal, and our carrier phase is going to change whenever there is a transition from 1 to 0 and 0 to 1. Now whenever there is a transition from 1 to 0, that means the phase of a carrier is going to be shifted by 0 to 180. Okay. Similarly, when the transition comes from 0 to 1, then again it is 180 degree to 0 degree it will come up. So step by step we will see how to identify the particular parameters and how these parameters are going to be represented in pictorial as well as mathematical representation. Now as I have written, it is binary phase shift key. So since it is a key, means on and off condition. Now in ASK, whenever we have switched on a particular, suppose if a switch is closed, then only the carrier signal is available at the output. So for that reason it is called as a key. Some characteristics has been changed, so it is also called as modulation. Similarly, in BPSK, if a switch is closed, that means it will provide the carrier with the in-phase carrier trait. That means modulated wave will be same as your carrier component, in-phase component. Amplitude remain constant, frequency remain constant, phase remain constant whenever the switch is closed. But when the switch is opened, at that time your phase of the carrier is going to change. If the phase of a carrier is changed, that means it is called as a phase modulation. And key means it is switch on and off. So depend upon the on and off condition, your phase is going to change. If it is switches on, it is an in-phase carrier. If it is off, it is out of phase carrier. Out of phase means 180 degree phase shift. Now in ASK, we have come across this relation. We have only one relation. Whenever there is a binary bit 1, signal is available. Whenever there is a binary bit 0, signal is not available. So signal is available means binary bit 1, signal is not available means binary bit 0. That assumption we have to when we discuss about ASK. But in BPSK, we have two components. If I am transmitting binary bit 1 and binary bit 0, so as I have told, if there is a transition from 1 to 0 or 0 to 1, there must be change in the phase of the carrier. So if it is changed, then we can say it is called BPSK signal. Now in this figure you can see, first one I have considered is an NRZ representation of a binary bit 1010. Fine. Similarly, second one I have considered is a cosine signal. So this is carrier and it is having a carrier flow like this. Fine. identify the positions where the transition happens, 1 to 0, 0 to 1. Now if I am going to represent what is my BPSK signal corresponding to this binary waveform we have provided, then we have provided the basis function, because basis function requirement is more in order to represent the values. So this basis function is a derived form of a carrier component. Okay, so it is phi 1 of t root over of 2 by dv cos 2 by fct. Fine. When it is modulation happens, the BPSK signal will come into picture. When the binary bit 1 is encountered, the phi 1 of t is remain in phase component, and when 0 is encountered, this phi 1 of t will be transited to 180 degree. Okay, so phase of a carrier will change from 0 to 180 degree. So in this figure you can see that my carrier is in phase if it is binary bit 1. So carrier is in phase component. But whenever there is a transition from 1 to 0, my phase must be changed. I will tune this carrier in such a manner, or this phase basis function, I will provide 180 degree phase shift to represent the binary bit 0. So there is a phase shift of 180 degree. So initially it is 0 degree, then when it is 0 is identified, its phase was changed as 180 degree. Then again it is 0 to 1 means 180 degree to 0 degree it will transit. So that means these are the transition point at which the phase conversion takes place. One is 1 to 0 and 0 to 1. For example, if it is after 0, if it is 0, it will follow the same path, same transition will be there, or same phase will be continued until unless next binary bit is encountered. Whenever the binary bit 1 is encountered, automatically it changes its phase. So that phase transitions will help us to identify the BPSK signal. In this case, amplitude of a carrier remain constant, frequency remain constant. Only the thing is that phase is going to change with respect to my binary data. And this binary data are represented in a binary waveform. So this waveform is nothing but a enlarged representation of a binary data. With the positive potential plus V, negative potential minus V. Take the carrier amplitude as let us consider it is plus 1 and this is minus 1. So your carrier amplitude will vary, amplitude remain constant, but your phase will change, frequency remain constant. Now this whole pictorial representation can be analyzed with the help of the mathematical equations. So here there are two bits we are going to transmit, binary bit 1 and binary bit 0. So binary bit 1 will have the modulated signal. Similarly, binary bit 0 is also have the modulated signal with out of phase of 180 degree. Now if I will say S1 of t is equals to root over of 2 EB by dV cos 2 pi fct. This is the one ASK signal what we have derived from our ASK. In that case, energy bit is available as well as the basis function is available. You have, with the help of the product modulator, generate the ASK signal. So whenever the binary bit 1 is encountered, carrier is available. Whenever there is a binary bit 0 is encountered, no carrier is available. But in BPSK, in binary bit 0 also, the carrier will be available, but it is out of phase. Okay. So for symbol 1, let us assign the energy bit is root over of 2 EB by dV cos 2 pi fct. And for binary bit 0, as I have told, 180 degree phase shift will happen. So what I will do, it is cos of 2 pi fct plus pi. Now it is nothing but cos of theta plus pi, which is nothing but minus cos theta. So here I have written S2 of t, this is second symbol, root over of 2 EB by dV cos of 2 pi fct, in order to represent the binary bit 0. So that means in this case it is an in phase component of a carrier, and in this case it is out of phase component of a carrier. Out of phase component in the sense 180 degree phase shift. So due to the 180 degree phase shift, the amplitude will change. So amplitude will change to minus. So when it is amplitude is changed to minus, if there is a phase reversal happens. Okay, and the transition happens from 1 to 0, 0 to 1, then again 0 to 1 if it is other bits are available. Depend upon the encountered adjusted value, and phase will change. If suppose if it is 1 and if it is it will follow the same phase until unless 0 is encountered. If 0 is encountered, phase will reverse by 180 degree and then it will continue with the further process. Okay. Now here we have considered, now there are two symbols are there, binary bit 0 and binary bit 1. So that means there are two energy bits are available. If there are two energy bits, we need to satisfy the condition that is called m must be less than equals to n, where n is the number of basis functions required to transmit the m energy signal. So here we have two energy bits, that means we require one basis function. So your n is equals to 1 and energy bits are 2, binary bit 1, binary bit 0. But if n is equals to 1 means one basis function is required. So one basis function means one carrier will be there. We are making the carrier in such a manner, some alternates has been done, that in phase is going to be represent the presence of binary 1 and out of phase of the carrier is going to be represented with binary bit 0. Fine. So our basis function is root over of 2 by Tv cos of 2 pi epsilon. Last class we have discussed how to derive this basis function. Then this s of t, these two symbols can be represented with a general expression that s of t is equals to plus root eb into phi 1 of t for binary bit 1 minus root eb phi 2 of phi 1 of t for binary bit 0. And this transition will be taken place for complete time period 0 to Tv. So here it is 0 to Tv for binary bit 0, 0 to Tv for binary bit 1. So Tv is the time period for a particular bit period, or you can say symbol period. Fine. So these are the general representation of the BPSK signal, which is quite similar to ASK. In ASK we have only this and 0 for this, but in BPSK we have this as well as the negative component representing the phase reversal of a carrier while transmitting the binary bit 0. Fine. Now after that, once the signals are generated, next comes how to detect it. Now we have the coherent detection. We have detected the ASK, similarly we have to detect the PSK. It is the same procedure. So x of t I have received. So whenever the s of t is delivered to a channel, it won't be s of t because additional component of noise is going to interfere. So I have represented this x of t. So x of t is nothing but s of t plus w of t. So s of t is my modulated signal and w of t is called as noise component. So you can listen the external noise as interference. So it is just like that. So it is s of t is the BPSK signal and w of t is the presence of noise. Fine. So this x of t enters to my correlator. This one is called as a correlator. This is called as a correlator. So in this correlator, if the same basis function what we have used while transmission, we use for the detection, then it is called coherent detection. It is similar to our analog system where we use the carrier signal with the same carrier frequency or the same phase and all. So here it is phi 1 of t we have used and x of t is cross correlated with phi 1 of t and then it is provided to the integrator. So this whole component is called as a correlator. Fine. So this correlator output is x1. Okay. It is similar to our ASK detection. So x1 will have certain strength and that strength will be provided to the decision level device. Now in decision level device we have a threshold component lambda. Now this decision device will decide whether it is a binary bit 1 or whether it is a binary bit 0. So if your x1 is greater than your threshold value, the decision will be given on a binary bit 1. And if your x1 is less than this threshold value, then the identification will be binary bit 0. So these are the decision values through which we can reconstruct the binary bit with the help of the coherent detection. Okay. Now in order to analyze this detection, we have the constellation diagram through which we can understand that presence of binary bits will be falling in which particular region. Either it is a region 1 or region 2. Now here you can see there is only one axis because we have only one basis function. If there are two basis functions, we will have two axes. So here one axis is available because here we have used only one basis function to transmit our two symbols. One symbol is binary bit 1, which is an in-phase component and whose strength is root EB. Fine. Similarly, for binary bit 0, whose strength is root EB, but it is 180 degree phase shift from binary bit 1. So this is binary bit 1, so 180 degree phase shift if I will take, it comes here. Fine. So it is 180 degree phase shift and minus indicate the phase reversal and it is minus root EB. Fine. And the decision level will be based on the binary bit 0. So here the threshold value will be set as 0. Let us consider. If my integrated value and all this value is greater than 0, then it will fall in the region 1 and it will be decided as a binary bit 1. And if this correlator output, if it is less than 0, okay, if it is less than 0, sometimes negative component may come. If it is negative is available, then it will fall in a region 2, which is called my binary bit 0. So this is the constellation diagram through which the decision level will be or decision making will be done with respect to the received signal, with respect to x of t. So x1 will be measured with respect to the threshold level. If x1 is greater than threshold level, then binary bit 1 falls in region 1. And if the x1 is less than threshold level, then it is binary bit 0 falls in the region 2. Fine. So these are the basic components which is available in all the digital modulation schemes, whether you go for ASK, whether you go for PSK. Fine. Now here a small mathematical calculation I will tell you. So x of t, what we have received is s of t plus w of t. Fine. W of t is the presence of noise. If it is ideal case, consider x of t is equals to s of t. But in practical case, we have to consider the presence of noise, and this w of t is called as AWGN, additive white Gaussian noise. Next, if I want to calculate what is my x1 of t, x1 of t is nothing but a cross correlation between x of t and the phi1 of t. So I will write 0 to t x of tau into phi of t minus tau, phi1 of t minus tau into d tau. Or we can write 0 to t x of t minus tau into phi1 of tau into d tau. Any of these cases can be identified. So that means indirectly it is identifying that this phi1 of t is the impulse response of this whole system. So whatever the x of t if you provide, the impulse response depends upon this basis function according to which you are identifying x1. So x1 is equals to this much value. Now output of this, if it is greater than lambda, then the decision will be binary bit 1. And if this value is less than lambda or the threshold value, then the binary bit 0. So like this, the decision will be identified based on the x1 values. If the decision is done on the region 1, that means binary bit 1. If the decision is done on the region 2, then it is binary bit 0. Okay. So these are the small techniques through which we can reconstruct the BPSK signal, and we can generate the BPSK signal too. Okay. So next we have the determination of probability of error. It is also called as P suffix E. Basically it is represented as P suffix E. Now the question comes, why we are determining this probability of error? The probability of error is identified for a digital modulation scheme. Either we go for ASK, either we go for PSK, FSK, QPSK, which sort of modulation. For all the n number of data with a certain duration, with a certain weightage. At the end, at the receiving, if any of the data of that particular binary stream, if any of the symbol got corrupted, then how to identify? For example, if I have transmitted binary bit 1 and I have received binary bit 0, so that means the decision level is given its favor on the region 2 where it falls in the region 0, but I have transmitted binary bit 1. Similarly, in vice versa case, if I am transmitting binary bit 0 and received as a binary bit 1, so that means there is a contradiction. That means there is a due to the presence of error, my bit has been corrupted. And lower strength becomes as a higher strength, or higher strength becomes as a lower strength. Now that calculation is identified with the help of a tool called probability of error. In this we have three basic steps to identify P. First of all, we have to identify the output of the correlator. Fine? What at a receiver end with the help of that coherent detection what we have discussed now. Now once this x1 is identified, next with the help of x1 you have to identify whether it is a binary bit 0 or binary bit 1 calculation. Second, in order to identify the strength availability in a particular signal, for that we have to make as an expectation. So for that you can see we have to identify the mean of the random variable. Because x1 whatever we are receiving, it is just like as a random. From that random we have to extract our information. If I will take the mean, then I am focusing on basically on the strength of a particular bit, not with noise. Because mean of the noise is going to be 0. And second, in order to identify the presence of noise, we have to go for the variance calculation. These all things we have discussed in the previous modules. Fine. So variance calculation, when we go for a random variable, it will replicate the presence of noise, and that is to be a additive white Gaussian noise. Fine. Once it is done, then we have to identify the probability density function. Probability density function means I have transmitted 0 but detected as 1. So that means at the receiver end, x1 is not same as what I have transmitted. So I need to correlate all these things. So there is a certain methodology is there through which we can identify the probability of error for different modulation schemes. For AS state is different, for TS state is different, for QTS state is different. Okay, but it will depend upon the energy bit with respect to the noise. As we have identified signal to noise ratio in analog systems, similarly with the help of probability of error we can justify that yes, the reconstruction of the signals can be done in a very precise way. Okay, we have to see that probability of error must be very less. If the probability of error is very high, means we cannot reconstruct the original signal. We have already lost our information. So it is the probability of error must be very negligible or very less than 0, or it is towards 0. It cannot be 0 because in ideal case it will be 0, but it is near towards 0. If it is very less, then it is easy, and we can say that effect of noise to a bit stream is less. We have reconstructed the original signal. Now step by step we can see. So probability of error, first step we have to identify the output of the correlator. So output of the correlator, how we can identify? In correlator we have a product modulator in which the basis function is going to multiply, and then it is followed by an integrator, and output is x1. So let us consider x of t is s of t plus w of t. S of t is the transmitted signal, w of t is the additive white Gaussian noise. Then x of t, in place of s of t we have two symbols, binary bit 1, binary bit 0. For binary bit 1 in phase component, binary bit 0 out of phase component. So s1 of t is nothing but root EB into phi 1 of t, s2 is minus root EB into phi 2 of t, and plus w of t plus w of t. Just we have to represent it. Then it is for binary bit 1 and it is for binary bit 0. Now in order to proceed further to calculate the probability of error, we have to assume either we can go for transmitted signal is binary bit 1 or binary bit 0. Any one, all are equiprobable. If it is binary bit 0 and binary bit 1, equiprobable. So equiprobable means probability of transmission of binary bit is half and probability of binary bit 0 is also half. So here I have assumed that 0 is transmitted, then what will be the output of the correlator? So if the 0 is transmitted, that means I have transmitted S2. Fine. If it is 1 is transmitted, you have to consider S1. So here I have considered x1 is equals to 0 to t, x of t, phi of t into dt. It is the output of a correlator. Fine. Now, in place of x of t, you have transmitted binary bit 0, so we have to substitute this S2 in place of x. So S2 of t plus W of t. So S2 of